Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome back. I I didn't feel like doing a super flashy intro this time.
I was waiting for something, and it just never came.
I
I'm
know it
like,
rarely ever does whenever I give an intro, and it just leaves that awkward silence, which is amazing. Um,
what do you want from me?
more than you
Oh,
can offer. Um,
I see
um,
how it is. So,
so yeah, this week we're doing Daily Lives of High School Boys.
that we are.
Uh, well, since it was my suggestion, Andy, thoughts?
Um, I, I like it because it uses something that you don't often see, which is the perspective or the comedy of perspective.
Okay.
So eventually, in terms of how the show works, um, it is the most boring show if you don't see it how the characters see it. So it starts off with them talking about something or whatever, and then it changes how the world is based on what the characters are doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Be
for example, they're just walking down the street, they pick up a stick, and then all of a sudden, they're in this medieval world, and they're facing
yeah,
down each other.
yeah, they're playing it out and stuff like that, but then it'll flash to somebody else who just looks at them and it looks like they're just being idiots.
Yep. Which is where a lot of the comedy comes, and it's not that effective in those terms, but I think it's one of those things that gets better the later on it goes. Like I
Yeah.
was I was laughing a lot more during the ending like 3 episodes than I was the entire rest of the show.
Hmm. Yeah, the series there was a lot of good funny moments in it. Like it almost seemed like just with the random weirdness to it, it wasn't as random and weird as it, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of Nietzsche Joe,
Yeah, I mean just being a slice of life comedy, like
where some random weird crap happens in it.
and I mean just with the similarity of names it's going to be compared to it, but
Oh
I
yeah.
I just don't think because Nishi Joe you really couldn't tell why behind it. This one was a lot cuz Nichijou did have those sections where it kept going back to, but
Hmm.
a lot of this took setup, which is why the last 3 episodes were funnier than the earlier parts of the show, was because it set up these expectations and then all of a sudden threw those expectations out the window,
Yeah.
which I think did a lot more for it. So it was pretty it was pretty good at the end, but um I just found it kind of lacking at the early ones because I'm just like this is
I don't.
what's the point? What are we getting at here? And then all of a sudden it all made sense because then they're referencing things that happened in the older episodes.
I loved one of the reoccurring things with the one girl that reads down by the riverbed.
Oh my god. Okay, so that I was like, what the fuck? Cause the first time they're just saying hyperbolic bullshit,
Yeah, it's
right?
supposed to be mysterious and everything like that.
So they're just randomly spouting shit off. And I'm all like, okay, this is just kind of weird. But
Uh,
then they come
In
back
the
to it a little bit later and somebody else comes along and just fucks it all up, which was pretty funny, right? And then
yeah.
all of a sudden the last episode they come back to it and they fucking just go yep, nope, just shit goes down, fuck everything,
Oh my gosh. It's just it gets really funny sometimes.
But I like the huge part of it is that repetition. Like, if it wasn't for that repetition, it would not be as funny as it was.
Yeah. Like it
So
wasn't one of those where it's like a one-time joke that never comes back.
yeah, like Nichijou has a lot of one-time jokes that just are never referenced again. Like this one
But the
is always self-referential.
Yeah, I was gonna say which works in that case. This needed that.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference between the comedy styles, as in, yes, okay, so I put Nichijou and Daily Lives of High School Boys into like two different sets of comedy because Nichijou is more of like the lull random, even though it doesn't it doesn't seem random at the time, right? Like it makes sense because it's like, okay, the overreactions happen, which is the rule of the world, and you kind of learn that throughout. But that being said, who knows what actually happens, right?
Yeah.
Like with the whole beam of light like blowing apart the house because she tried to click on the wrong side of a pen. Like that's like it's lull random, but it has a reason to be funny because it does have rules that can be broken and like morphed and kind of fit to what's going on. Now, Daily Lives of High School Boys has is more of a setup, right? It's more of a setup followed by punchline. Cuz
Yeah.
every one of the jokes has these characters, the same recurring characters. These recurring characters act toward each other in the same way, and then they do something, and then the perspective changes, which is why it's funny. So, for example, they're doing like kick the can
Hmm.
in one, and the kick the can episode is so you're seeing the same people, they're doing the same thing, you know, they're playing a game, whatever, but all of a sudden it switches perspective to somebody who just kind of walked along, and it's like just a giant battle of like him trying to save his mech from being kicked. And the punchline is they kick his mech and they bought him the same mech with like a super cheapo like build it yourself version. Which
Yeah.
is so like there are multiple layers, but it needs that setup of having those characters with that kind of attitude and
Yeah.
uh, I think I know too much about comedy.
You definitely know how to analyze it.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I was not a fan of with this was I didn't find him like it was interesting, but it wasn't like super funny. Was the after credits like the little shorts that they had with like the girls instead?
Dude, I just stopped watching those, in all honesty.
Like they weren't great. Like they had some comedy to them, but they were just not great.
With this show, I was actually expecting less of the, oh look, lol, he's in girls' clothing. Like, does that make sense? Like,
Oh my gosh, they did cross dress.
they cross track a lot. Like, it wasn't even just a little bit.
It happens in the first episode.
But it was one of those things that was just all like, really? Like, I thought the whole idea was that, like, Daily Lives of High School Boys would be more of, like, a boy-centric, like, weird shit happens at school, like...
Nope.
Nope, we're going straight into the cross-dress. I'm like, ah... Come on, guys! The fuck's wrong with you?
Everything.
Pretty much. But, what can you do?
Yeah.
So, what was? Did you have a favorite joke? I know you said you're talking about.
I gotta say, just the reoccurring like down at the riverbed one.
I could see
Like
it.
I don't know. I just thought that was so funny every time it happened because it was always that same girl,
Ah.
the one
Well,
who
no,
like
no.
wrote this.
They explained that too because she wrote the story and she was specifically
Exactly.
looking for the character in her story,
I know. It
which is
was fantastic.
fucking stupid.
Just like the random like super blushy, nervous look she always gave. Or like super
the
expectant look.
the oh shit because like she just sat down and he's just all like she's so close.
I just love the first interaction where it was yeah, I think Hidenori. Like he's just spouting off like just a random bullshit about like the wind. And like he like in his mind he's just screaming like, why am I saying this?
Yeah, do you want to say something fucking normal? Nope. Nope.
Like his brain is just screaming at him like, stop talking.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, all in all, I'd say give this a shot.
You're not gonna go through anything else. Like I gave you a super long speech.
I mean, to be fair, you pretty much covered it.
Oh,
Like, we both liked the show. Like, there's a lot of like funny parts to it.
all
It
right,
has
all
it
right,
has its moments of not great.
all right. What's better, this show or Nichijou?
Oh, Nichijou.
That was quick.
I'm sorry. There's like I still think about Nichijou.
Yep. No. See, this is. I mean, it's a good comedy, but there's a lot of downtime.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but like just like I still just think about Nichijou and just laugh my ass off. Like I always recommend Nichijou to people who are looking for comedies.
hmm Oh, most definitely. Actually, what was really funny was the other day I was talking with one of my new coworkers. Because do we ever release that episode?
Nichijou?
No, of us talking about like what's been going on the channel and shit.
Not yet. I was gonna do that today.
All right, that could be released.
And I
Anyway,
was gonna yeah, I was gonna do like that and a couple and like one and like an actual episode.
oh okay. Anyway, so talking with one of my new coworkers, and oh my god, it was just so good because he's all like, ah, no, I got a little girl, she's already in anime, and I'm like, Nichijou, man, you watch it with her, cause like
You'll laugh your balls off.
you will laugh, she'll laugh, it's clean, like you can't
It is
ask for
it is
better.
very clean. Like that's the thing is like comedies don't need to be etchy,
See,
which is the
there's like a weird line with Daily Lives of High School Boys. Like there's a line. So like when they start cross dressing and stuff, like I'm not sure like where that line is.
I don't know if they're walking it or what.
But like as soon as you're like, oh yeah, by the way, guy and girls underpants, you're like, do I really want to show this to somebody younger?
Like at least they don't show anything.
Well, yes, that is true, but at the same point, would it like because I mean, if they're young enough, like they're not gonna get it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they're old enough for it to be funny, then I don't know if you technically want them. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I'd place this particular anime, The Daily Lives, under probably like middle high school age and up. Because that's where like all the humor would like actually go about.
Yeah, maybe even like just high school in general.
Yeah. But
I'll say
Uh,
middle school if you're like in some ghetto area.
like I said, middle school meaning like late middle school.
No, like even early middle school. Again, if you're in some ghetto area, like
Jesus.
I'm just saying, like there were fucking middle schoolers found having sex in my old middle school. So
Uh, when I was in high school, there was people in like correction. There's people in like sixth grade talking about losing their virginity to eighth graders.
damn.
Yeah, my town, like my school district, were kind of had a bunch of whores.
Yeah. Gotta start them early, I guess.
Hell, when I worked at McDonald's, there was you know what? Never mind. We're not getting into the like this
All right,
conversation
all
in the
right.
middle of an episode. No, I
No,
refuse.
no. All right. So if you want to hear a conversation about McDonald's,
No, no, no. It's nothing bad towards McDonald's.
all right. Anyway, I think we're good.
Yeah. So, what are you giving me?
I will give you a really short one because we're recording this one before the one that I suggested last time.
They don't need to know that.
They do, you lazy bum.
I've been busy. I've been busy,
So have I.
and I'll be busy next weekend.
I made it through 2 shows in like 1 week where I had 0 days off.
To be fair, though, like Skyrim's been taking up a lot of my time.
Yes, let's obsess over the game that's been out forever and has had a million fucking remakes.
This is the first time I've like sat down and played it, and I've actually bought it.
Oh. I hope
The
you're
reason why is because I have it on the Switch now.
Oh. I hope you're liking it. I hated it, so
I liked Oblivion better.
that seems to be the common consensus.
Like,
Anyway, hold on. Short show. We gotta talk about the short show. Corpse Party.
oh yeah. So we'll do that next time.
It's a party with corpses.
Bye.
Super intuitive. Do it! Just do it!